Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Now sorry I haven't uploaded in the last few days, but I've been having a couple of personal problems, so that took a bit more precedence than doing videos, I'm afraid. But we're back again, and with another band that I have not heard of before, and a band called Fear of Domination. Obviously I tried to do a bit of research on them, but I couldn't really find much, and what I did find I had to translate from a page written in a different language. But what I did find is that Fear of Domination are a Finnish melodic death industrial metal band from Nurmijärvi. I hope I pronounced that right, probably hideously mispronounced it, but anyway, and they're from Nurmijärvi, and they were founded in 2006, however they didn't release an album until 2009 after going through a couple of lineup changes. They have done gigs with Death Stars. They were an opening act for Death Stars for a few years back, but I didn't really find much else about them. Now, a melodic death industrial metal band. This sounds like it could be quite interesting. But other than that, I have no idea what to expect going into this. After a lot of searching around, I did find some lyrics. So, yes, let's see where this goes. So, this is Obsession by Fear of Domination. Quite interesting. At the moment, it actually has a bit of a almost Lacuna Coil feel to it in a way. Obviously, the female vocal style, which I didn't know was going to be in there, is quite different from that of Lacuna Coil. But for the most part, it has a very Lacuna Coil-esque feeling to it. Not so much industrial metal so far as I'm feeling, and not really melodic death metal either. I'm not sure they quite know what genre to put themselves in. But again, this is only one track of theirs. I haven't heard anything else. Maybe their other stuff is quite different. We don't know yet. Now, the lyrics. It opens up with, "Loose the chains holding me, I have the freedom to fly. Still I find myself bound tightly to the ground. to the wall, to my will, to the lies I despise, stuck in the trenches at the war zone of my mind. I preserve sanity, made of fragile glass, search my way through the maze, how long will I last? Made my plans for tomorrow, still I'm stuck in yesterday. So, their mind is fixated on something constantly. They can't, they're free to do whatever they want, but their mind is constantly stuck on this one thing, Like there was a line there. I have the freedom to fly, still I find myself bound tightly to the ground. It's like they know they can go off, they can do whatever they want to do, think what they want to think. They have the freedom to do pretty much anything, but they're fixated on this one thing, and it's holding them down, holding them back. They've become obsessed with this thing. Obviously, there's something called obsession. And then it goes into the chorus. It says, obsession, to leave the past behind, make a sacrifice for a new dawn to rise, break the barriers, I finally realise what you can become. Then it comes back with, remember times when breathing was easy, now it's like a whole world is holding you back. Let me through, time for you to get out of my way, in the mindless wars left unsolved. A demonic insanity turns reality into a haze. Feed the madness of this world, it is not just a phase. In this progression of obsession and the need for oppression, are you ready to make a change? So, it's hard really to sort of completely figure out what this is about, because obviously they're talking about being fixated on a certain thing, but then in those lines there, remember when times when breathing was easy, now it's like the whole world is holding me back. Let me through, it's time for you to get out of my way, in the mindless wars left unsolved. The demonic insanity turns reality into a haze. Feed the madness of this world, it is not just a phase. In the progression of obsession and the need for oppression, are you ready to make a change? It's not so much talking about the obsession in a mind anymore. It's talking about like the state of the world and the fact that the progression of obsession and the need for oppression is like people are always fighting over something that's not theirs. People are obsessed. For example, the war on Iraq and stuff like that. The progression of obsession. They're obsessed with getting the oil or whatever from there, and they're going to oppress the people who have every right to live in that country because that is their country. But because America wants that oil, they're going to force their way into it. They're going to oppress the people until they get what they want, because they are obsessed with the need and the want for that. And it's talking about, are you ready to make a change now? Are you ready to change this? Are you going to try and break this fixation everybody has with needing what isn't theirs or wanting what isn't theirs? That's what it seems to have gone on to. To begin with, they were just talking about like everyday obsession. My mind is stuck on this, that, and the other. But now they're talking about, the actual real world obsessions that are going on at the moment that are actually destroying us. Carry on. See where this goes. go. That was Obsession by Fear of Domination. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I really did like that. Like I said, it had a bit of a feel of Lacuna Coil about it, and I absolutely love Lacuna Coil. I mean, like I said, they describe themselves as melodic death and industrial metal. I wouldn't necessarily say melodic death metal. By what I've just heard, there is not really much of a death metal aspect in it. Industrial maybe, but again, I wouldn't say so much. But no, it was very good. I actually really enjoyed it. You would see my paused the song first of all right after all the meat of the song, and when we came back in, it just repeated an extended version of the chorus, which said, "Obsession to leave the past behind, make a sacrifice for a new dawn to rise, break the barriers to finally realise what you can become. Don't deny my rights and claim what is mine. I will draw the line, it's not my demise. I'll make my way, so don't you dare to wear me down." And then it repeated that again, and then added an extra bit on the end. So every time they've done the chorus, it's been like one verse, then it's been two verses, and then they did a 3-verse version of the chorus. So it went, "Obsession to leave the past behind, make a sacrifice for a new dawn to rise, break the barriers to finally realise what you can become. Don't deny my rights and claim what is mine. I will draw the line, it's not my demise. I'll make my way, so don't you dare to wear me down. Obsession, just leave the past behind, make a sacrifice for a new, brighter light, break the barriers to finally realise what you have become." So again, as the song did, the chorus has sort of progressed into a more almost real world sort of situation. You know, obsession, leave the past behind, make a sacrifice for a new dawn to rise, break the barriers to realise what you can become. So it's like, rather than being obsessed with things that you want or things that you can't have, that you are planning to maybe fight for, just leave it behind, start again, become obsessed with changing everything for the better rather than, you know, trying to take what doesn't rightfully belong to you. You know, just give up on that, because, yeah, at the end of the day, it's not going to get you anything. You're just going to end up being an arsehole. You know, and there was that line, "Don't deny my rights and claim what is mine. I will draw the line, it's not my demise." You know, it's basically, again, it's talking about oppression. You know, don't deny my rights and claim what is mine. You know, it's like, you've come, for example, you've come into my country trying to claim XYZ resources, but they don't belong to you. You've literally bullied your way here to force them away from us. You can't, you know, you have no right to push us aside, you know, and this, that, and the other. You know, you can't take what doesn't belong to you by right. You know, come in and trade by all means, but actually forcing your way to take what doesn't belong to you, you know, that's out of the question. You know, and it carries on. You know, just leave the past behind, make a sacrifice for a new, brighter light, break the barriers so you finally realise what you've become. It's like, you know, just look at yourself, think about what you're doing. You know, you're, for example, waging war, and, you know, you're causing more destruction in the world than is absolutely necessary. All of these acts of terrorism that are happening to you, you're bringing on yourself because you forcefully attacked them. So they're just retaliating, yet you're calling them, you know, the extremists or the bullies, or, you know, and they're saying, look, just sit down and think about it. You know, you've gone in, you've invaded their country, you've killed millions just because you want something that doesn't belong to you. You're obsessed with this, and your obsession has made you blind to the reality of what's going on. That's what it seems. I could be way off base, but that's what it certainly seems. But as for the actual song and the band, it was very, very good. I'd be very interested to hear something else of theirs. Like I said, this example didn't really fit the description of the band that I found, but again, it could also be that the description I found wasn't well translated. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I'll be interested to definitely hear some more. But I'll leave that as it is. If anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so by all means. You can drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or even on my Patreon, should you feel the need to help support me and help me make further videos in the future. Just know, if you do make a suggestion, it will take a little while for me to get around to it, since, you know, I get suggested so many tracks every single day. You know, my list grows faster than I can record the videos, but I do write down every suggestion I get, so it will get done eventually. It's just going to take me a while to get around to it. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. They are a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crimes, mainly those surrounding the alternative subculture, people who listen to alternative music or wear alternative fashion. And it's something I think definitely needs more attention. It's something I strongly believe in, because every single day we hear about all of these other hate crimes around the world. You know, we've got racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, religious hatred, prejudice against disabled people. We hear about this every single day. But what we don't hear enough about are the people that are getting violently attacked every single day because of the music that they listen to or the clothes that they wear. You know, people are getting victimised and brutally beaten just because of the music that they listen to, and it is beyond ridiculous. You know, you don't attack someone because they like different films to you, different TV shows to you, different books or magazines. You don't attack people because they like different video games to you. You know, it doesn't happen. But for some reason, when it comes to music, people seem to think this is an okay thing to do, and it is not. You know, why does what someone listens to, why does someone's taste in music matter that much that you've got to violently attack them and brutalise them? You know, what is it that makes that subject an okay one for violence? It doesn't. There is no excuse for it. There is no validating it. There is no way someone can give a valid justification for it. It makes no sense. If you don't like the way someone's dressed, the simple thing, don't look at them. You know, there are infinite directions you can look in. Just shift your gaze to the side like a centimetre and you won't be looking at them anymore. It's that simple. Just because you don't like what someone's wearing does not give you the right or the excuse to violently attack someone. Just because someone listens to a different kind of music to you doesn't give you a valid excuse to attack someone. It is unacceptable. But it happens every single day and all over the world, you know, and something needs to be done. You know, it needs to be stopped because people are getting severely hurt. And in the case of Sophie Lancaster, she lost her life because of this. Because a group of youth didn't like the way she dressed. They didn't know her. They didn't know anything about her. You know, she was one of the nicest people you could ever hope to meet. But just purely by their own decision, they looked at her and thought, I don't like what you're wearing. I don't like the music you listen to and what you represent, so I am going to violently attack you. And she lost her life because she was beaten that severely. You know, when it comes to the point where someone loses their life over their taste in music, it is beyond ridiculous. And it needs to stop. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description down below. You go over there, find out what they're working on, find out what their main goal is, you know, because they can explain it better than I can. And if you can help them out in any way, even something as simple as one of these Sophie wristbands, that's a huge help. Every small bit makes the biggest difference. And the sooner we can get more attention brought to this, the sooner we can stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'll leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.